Hello, dear students. Welcome you all to the 15th lecture of macroeconomics. And today's topic for discussion is business cycles. So, this topic, I want to start with a quote which says that change is the only thing that is constant. And this is certainly applies to national economy also. Okay, so every country's economy, okay, it passes through some phases. Okay, there are fluctuations between the time periods. Like sometimes the economy of any company will perform very good. Okay, and sometimes the economy's activities will come down and we will see the recession and contraction in the economy. So this expansion and that depression or recession, when we will show in a graphical um, way, then that plot we will say that is business cycle. So what is business cycle? Basically they are the nation's economy fluctuations between period of expansion and contraction. So these changes are caused by level of employment, productivity, total demand, and supply for nation's goods and services. Basically, in some books you may see that the GDP they calculate to measure the performance of economic activities. So sometimes GDP will perform outstanding, everything will be positive, and sometimes you will see that the economy will not perform as per the expectation, and slowly it will go into depreciation. Okay, the factors are many behind this, and as I told you, the factors are level of employment, productivity, total demand, total supply of nation's goods and services. And in the short run, these changes lead to a period of expansion and recession, but in long term, economic growth can occur, allowing a nation to increase its potential level of output over a period of time. So if economy is performing very good, it doesn't mean that it will remain the same. There will be some certain point will come from where the economic activities will come down, and how it happens we will discuss. So first of all, let's see some definitions. Give standard definition of business cycle. So business cycle refers to economic wide fluctuations in production, trade, general economic activities. And from a conceptual perspective, business cycle is the upward and downward movement of the GDP and refers to a period of expansion and contraction in the level of economic activities around a long-term growth trend. Okay, so few words will come here which are new for you. I just want to explain you first. Business cycle model, already I have explained, a model showing the increase and decrease in nation's real GDP over the period of time. And this model typically demonstrates the increase in real GDP over the long run, and it combines with short-term fluctuations in output also. Another term we will use here, that is aggregate demand. So aggregate demand is the total demand of nation's output, which includes the household consumption, means individuals consumption, and government spending, business investment, and net export. And another new word we will see here, aggregate supply, means the total goods and services which we are producing in the nation, the supply of that total output, we will say aggregate supply. So let's start. What is business cycle? We will see one graph first of all. So you see here, one axis we are taking time and another axis we are taking real GDP per year. Okay, so you see here, prosperity is coming, then peak is there, then recession, then depression, and again recovery is starting. Okay, so all these phases or all these levels we will see, the business cycle we will learn here. Okay, and we will see that how the prosperity comes and from prosperity boom reached and what happened at boom so that the recession start, and if we will not take care of the recession, how the economy will go into depression. So all those things we will discuss in this lecture. So let's start with this. First of all, you need to write down the four phases of your business cycle. These are prosperity, first of all, recovery, prosperity, peak and boom, recession, and depression. So let's start first with the prosperity phase. So prosperity phase is the phase where there is an expansion of output, means output will increase, production will happen. And if production is happening, means more employment is there, more people are required to produce goods and services. And as a result, income will increase, individual income will increase, and prices and profits will also increase because there will be a aggregate demand in the market for the products, because people have the disposable income which they can spend because they are employed. So as a result of that, prices of goods and will increase and profits will increase for the businesses. There is also a rise of standard of living, obviously, because if you are consuming more, you are earning well, so automatically standard of living will increase. And this term, when all positive is happening, we will say that is a prosperity phase. Now, what are the features of prosperity phase? High level of output and trade will be there. Production will happen. Okay, more and more production will happen, and business will improve that type. Effective demand will be there. A lot of demand will come. Aggregate demand will increase, and high level of income and employment will be there, because if you are producing more and more, it means you require more people, and if more people are working, it means their income will increase, and as a result, income is increasing means disposable income will also increase. So what happened with this rising interest rate? The interest rate will increase in banks. Okay, and inflation will also increase because now people have enough money. Okay, so inflation will also increase under the prosperity phase. And large expansion of bank credits will be more. Banks will give credit to industries, okay, or to that manufacturing sector. A lot of interest will be a lot of credit will be given, and overall business will be optimism. Banks will also think that okay, everything is going on positive side, supply aggregate demand is more, and that industries will be able to repay the loans. So everywhere that a positive environment will be there. A higher level of MEC, marginal efficiency of capital and investment, this term we have already discussed, and investment will be there. And because of this full employment of the resource, the level of production will increase more and more, and it will push the GDP at high. But always remember that there is a limit of production, because as more and more of production will be here, that all the inventory will pile up. Okay, and if demand that people are not able to consume it, that inventory will go on waste. So from there the problem will start. And due to high level of economic activity, it causes a rise in price and profits, and there will be an upward economic activity and economy reach its peak. This is called a boom period, when everything is positive, overproduction is happening, overemployment is there, interest rates are very high, banks are giving credit to industries, and there is optimism in the market. So that will be called your prosperity phase. And when it will go upswing, means it will reach at the highest point, it will be your peak or boom. From there, okay, the turning point of prosperity to depression is termed as recession phase. Now, what happens in the prosperity phase and why this recession start also we need to understand. So first of all, let's see what is recession, then we will discuss this. So during the recession periods, economic activities will slow down, and demand will also start falling. Because if economic activities or the production is coming down, means for less production, less people are required. So people will be eliminated from the jobs. They will be unemployed. As an unemployment, their income will come down, and as a result of that, demand will also come down. The overproduction and future investment plan are also given up, and there will be steady decline in the output, income, employment, price, and profit. And businessmen will lose confidence, and they will become pessimistic. So if they are not optimistic, means they are pessimistic, means they will not take the risk of starting anything new, and it will reduce the investment. And bank will also not give easy credit to people or the industries. And banks and people, they will try to get greater liquidity. They want to keep the money in their hand, because there will be a situation where that people will think that the future can be anything. It can be so worst also, so people will start holding money. And expansion of business stops, and stock market will start falling, because the people now started uh, keeping the liquidity with them. And orders will be cancelled, and people start losing their jobs. And this increase in unemployment causes sharp decline in economic and aggregate demand. And this generally we say that recession lasts for a short period of time. You see that economic activities, when we are saying and we are defining the 4 phases, it doesn't mean that each phase is having the same time period. Okay. And normally that recovery takes a lot of time, and recession is for short period of time. So now I was telling you what happens, why the recession comes. So at a peak situation, we are uh, everything is like industries are producing much more, means that aggregate demand is not that much which they are producing. So as a result of that, that inventory gets compiled. Okay. And because of that, what happens, if too much inventory is there, wastage started coming. So as a result of that, if wastes are there, it means that industries are getting losses. So to cover those losses, they will stop production and they will throw people out. So from where that loss is starting, the economy will slowly go into recession phase. After recession, the period of depression phase comes. If we will not take a proper measure to come out from the recession, it will result to a depression phase. When there is a continuous decrease of output, income, employment, prices, and profit, there is a fall in the standard of living, and depression sets in. Features of depressions are, there will be fall in volume of output and trade, and income will also come down, and unemployment will increase. Consumption will decrease, obviously, because people don't have enough money in their hand, and demand for goods will also decrease. Fall in interest rate, as a result of that, government will take some actions, and they will tell banks to reduce the interest rate, so that the people can take a loan from banks and they can start their business. Okay. And deflation also will be there. Contraction of bank credits, because people will not take credit from the banks. That optimism or the positive scenario they will not see, so the risk will be more here, so they will not take the risk. Pessimism will be there. Fall in marginal efficiency of capital and investment will be there. And there is underutilization of resources, means how much ever resources are there, the industrial sector will not utilize them. Like that time there will be enough manpower, but they will not utilize that. Interest rates are low, so they can take a loan and start the business. They will not do that. They will not do any kind of expansion in their business during that period. And there will be fall in GDP as a result of that. The aggregate economic activity at the lowest level there, and it will cause a decline in the prices and profits until the economy reaches its top through, means low point. Until the economy reaches there will be pessimistic environment. People will not spend a lot because they don't have jobs. So depression phase will be there. From depression, again the recovery phase will start. As I told you, in depression the bank rates will be low, so slowly few people will start taking loans and they will start again the business. So one sector's economy will influence the recovery of other sectors. Okay, so from that point onwards, from depression, the expansion is termed as recovery and revival phase. So during the period of revival or recovery, there will be again expansion and rise of the economic activities. As I told you, one sector slowly, because interest rates are low, so out of so many industries, anyone will start taking initiatives, and if that business is doing well, so all the supporting industries will also get recovery from that point, and again the recovery will start. And as the recovery will start, again people will get employment. Okay, and again their income will increase and demand will again start rising. There is a steady rise in output, income, employment, price, and profits, and the businessman will again gain the profit and become optimistic about the future. And this increase the investment, and stimulation of investment bring about the recovery and recovery of the economy. So recovery phase, let's see, the bank expand credit again, and businesses expand taking places, and stock market will again start rising. And there will be an increase in employment, productivity, income. These all things we have discussed. And revival slowly emerge into prosperity, and the business is cycle is repeated, means again that same thing will happen. Again the recovery will happen, then expansion will happen, then peak will come, then depreciation will be there, and again the economy will go into recovery phase. Okay, so that is a kind of cycle, fluctuations in GDP, and how it happens, that also we have discussed. Thus we see that during the expansion and prosperity phase there is inflation, and during the contraction and deflation phase there is deflation, and government take monetary and fiscal measures to control all these things, so that the economy should be in balanced level. That we will discuss, that is there in your syllabus, monetary and fiscal policy. We will discuss in future lectures. So that is all for today's lecture. We have discussed the business cycle, and this question is very, very important from your examination point of view. This question will come 100% in your exam, so prepare it well. Again, I'm explaining from the beginning. Business cycle means the fluctuations in the level of GDP, basically. Okay, how the GDP is changing. And because of change in GDP means ultimately production is changing, trade will change, and general economic activities like employment, okay, aggregate demand, aggregate supply, all those things will change. So these phases are there: recovery, prosperity, peak, recession, and depression. Recovery will start, and it will give a positive note. Then prosperity will come, where that the economy will perform above than the equilibrium position. And in prosperity, that businesses will produce, they will overproduce, we can say that. And that optimistic scenario will be there, interest rates will be high that time. Okay, and a lot many people will get employment, over employment will be there, and income will increase that time. And that spending power will also be high, and level of standard of living will also increase during prosperity phase. And peak, the economy will reach to up to its peak, where there will be overproduction, over employment, over income, and over inflation. Too much inflation will be there, and there will be a pile of inventory of everything. Then slowly the aggregate demand will come down, and recession will start. And during recessions people will start losing their jobs, production will come down, and government will take some actions to recover from recession. They will reduce the interest rates so that the people people take loans from the bank and they can start their operations once again. And if we will not take proper measures for recession, the economy will go into depression and it will reach to a point throughout where the all economic activities are at the minimum, and slowly any of the sector will again start recovering and its effect will go to other sectors also, and slowly the recovery will start again. So this is all for your business cycle. I hope you understood this concept, and it is very important concept. If you still have some confusion, you can ping me. I will solve your query on WhatsApp group. Thank you so much for watching the video.